Hello everybody, very important lesson. This is the culmination of a few little lessons. They all build to this. I can solve fractional exponent Regents problems by using multiple choice strategy if it's multiple choice and following the radicals of fractional exponents. Get rid of parentheses. Negative exponents are fractions. Clean it up, MD. Follow those steps. If you follow those steps, you will get there. Let's start with multiple choice. If it's multiple choice, do not do any of that. Just do your multiple choice strategy. Let's do number 2 because there's a little twist. If you have something in front of the root, put the root in parentheses. Put the root in parentheses, put the root in parentheses. Other than that, we're going to store values for x and y. I always go 10 for x and 15 for y to access y, alpha 1. I type in the original problem in parentheses, alpha x for the fraction, x squared over x to the power of 1/3. Oops, let's get the parentheses there. Good. To the power of negative 1/2. 0.146 ... 0.146 ... I type in each choice. Let's start with choice 1. Now, because that, if I type in negative and then I type in alpha Windows 6, which is how I type radicals in, alpha Windows 6, the negative goes into that root. I don't want the negative in that root. So as I said, when you have a root, put parentheses around the whole root. Now, when I go alpha Windows 6, I can just input that 6 in there, x to the power of 5. Oops, I keep on getting on the wrong spot. I get negative 6.81. That is not the same thing as 0.416, so that can't be it. I go to choice 2, alpha x for the fraction, 1 over. I don't need to put parentheses around this one because there's nothing in front of it. 6th root of x to the 5th. Oh, there we go, 0.146, ... It matches my original. That's my answer. I don't have to go through all the choices. It's not a bad idea to, but for this particular problem, there's no factored completely, simplest form. If it works, it works. These questions can get really nasty multiple choice. Just keep it simple. Type in the original problem, type in each answer, get the right answer, and move on. Now, open response. Radicals are fractional exponents. Do I see a radical? Yes. So I rewrite it as a fractional exponent. So I have a to the first, and then I have a to the power over the root, 4 over 5. Get rid of parentheses. I'm good. There's no exponent outside parentheses. Negative exponents are fractions. I'm good. Clean it up, MDM. Multiplication. Yes, I see multiplication. When I'm multiplying, I add my exponents. So I'm doing 1 plus 4/5. Keep it simple. A lot of us are not good with fractions, so just type in 1 plus 4/5. I get 9/5. Now, if I were to do this by hand, I would have to find a common denominator. So I'd make my common denominator would be 5. 4 is already good. I multiply top and bottom by what's missing. 5, 5. 5 times 1 is 5. And 5 plus 4 is 9 over 5. So either way is fine. Let's keep it simple and use our calculator. But if you're a stronger student, that's where it's coming from. You did that a lot in middle school. So the answer would be a to the 9 over 5. So you're going to rewrite your radical as a fractional exponent. And then once you do that, you just make your way down the list. Usually it'll just be multiplication or division, where you'll have to add or subtract. And I would just use the calculator for adding or subtracting. Let's just take a look at one more from that section. We can take a look at number 8. Radicals are fractional exponents. Power over the root. The root is 2 if there's no root written. Power over the root. If there's no power, it's a 1. Power over the root. On top, when I'm multiplying, I'm adding 2/3 plus 5/2. You can use the calculator. I suggest you do that. You can do it by hand, which we just went over. 2/3 plus 5/2 is 19 over 6. So that becomes x to the 19 over 6 divided by x to the 1/6. Now I'm dividing, so I subtract the exponents. 19 over 6 minus 1 over 6. That already has a common denominator, so you might want to do that one by hand or not. Whatever. 19 over 6 minus 1 over 6 is 3. X to the 3rd is your answer. Now the next section is the same thing, but it wants the answer in radical form. So let's do number 12. Radicals are fractional exponents. Don't see that. Get rid of parentheses. Everything inside gets it. So it's 2x to the 3/2 over 16 to the 1/4. When I'm raising a power to a power, I multiply. 4 times 1/4 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4 over 4 is 1. Use a calculator if you need to. 16 to the 1/4. Power over the root. The 4th root is 16. Use a calculator if you need to. That's 2 to the 1st is 2. So it becomes 2x to the 3/2 over 2x to the 1st. The 2's cancel. I'm dividing. When I'm dividing, I subtract my exponents. Again, if you want to use a calculator, go for it. 3/2 minus 1 is 1/2. So it becomes x to the 1/2. And since the problem said it wants the answer in radical form, well, power over the root. I make a radical. I put what's being raised inside. Power is 1. Root is 2. I don't have to write that 1 and 2. Oops. I can just leave it as radical x. Either way is fine. So it's the same thing, but if it wants it in radical form at the end, you just pop it back into the radical. Power over the root. It's phrased a little bit differently, but it's the same exact thing. I want to get the left-hand side into x to a power. So, radicals are fractional exponents. Power over the root. Get rid of parentheses. When I raise a power to a power, I'm multiplying. 4 times 1 is 4. Over 3 is 4 over 3. Equals x to the power of n. Negative exponents are fractions. Nope. Clean it up. M, no multiplication. Yes, division. I subtract. I get 4/3. So it becomes x to the 4/3 equals x to the n. Since I'm looking for the exponent, I can just kind of cross those x's out, and I'm left with 4/3 equals n. So it's the same thing, it's just phrased differently. That's how you do it. You do the same exact process, and whatever your exponent is your answer. And then there's just one more type of question I like to ask on the Regents. Kenzie believes these expressions are equivalent. Well, let's do it. Radicals are fractional exponents. I write all the radicals as a fractional exponent. Power over the root. It wants to know if that's equal to power over the root. Get rid of parentheses. I'm good. Negative exponents are fractions. I'm good. Clean it up, MD. I see multiplication. When I'm multiplying, I add my exponents. Keep it simple. Use the calculator to add the exponents. I showed you how to do it by hand before. Briefly, you did a lot in middle school. If you remember it, great. If not, just use the calculator to get your answer. We don't want to lose points on this. 31 over 35. So I have x to the 31 over 35 is equivalent to x to the 6 over 35. Nope, those are not equivalent. Is she correct? Make sure you answer the question. No. So it's all the same thing. It's just phrased a little bit differently depending on how the problem is, except if it's multiple choice, just use your multiple choice strategy. Type in the original problem, type in each answer, see what matches up. Otherwise, radicals are fractional exponents. Then get rid of parentheses. Then deal with negative exponents are fractions. Then clean it up, MD. Look for multiplication. Look for division and reducing. Look to evaluate. Practice this. Definitely needs to be practiced. Commonly asked on the Regents. Usually comes up twice. One multiple choice, one open response. Practice. See ya.